tinted, slightly darker tint there. Yeah. Wow, look at that. So if I count the rings, there's 9 rings. So let me just remind you of what they looked like before. Pretty bad. So here we are, same shocks, everything, no replacement parts. There's 9 and locked in. Lesson learned, folks. Get one of those when you're fitting these pistons. Yeah, now it's a real pain because they only sell sets and they're about £200 a set. That's the stupidest thing I've done so far on this build. Well, we'll celebrate that with one of those. There's a few of you that have commented. Thank you very much for the advice, always appreciated. And some of the comments were, it's not enough to check by using a light source and turning the cam till it's clear. It's probably best to take them out and that they're a doddle to remove. Well, they're not quite a doddle if you don't do Ducatis. And the reason is these bolts that are here. Obviously they recessed, so I thought, well, these be Allen keys, but they're not Allen keys. They've got another smaller hole in the inside, and that you thread in a lock pin, and then you use the tool that comes with the tool, the special kit that bangs these out, and then they slide out, and that's the axle for the arms. If you really don't want to wait till the courier drops it off in a few days' time, you can quickly make one which would work just as well. So I've used the bearing puller that I have already, which is a nice hefty banger, as you like, with a weight. I found a nut that fits on the end, and then I found the right thread screw that goes on the inside of this. So you just weld something like that together, and that goes in there, and you tighten that up, and you fit this on the end of that, and basically you bang it out. And then once these are out, then these can come out, and then you can pull both sides out and check them. So a nice quick handy tip. Yeah, they all look pretty good. I think these have been replaced. So I'll put them back. There's no question about it. This is by far the nicest rebuild I've done. The reason is that the build quality of this bike is just really, people don't really talk about it that much. They say what a great bike it is and what a nice bike it is to ride. I've seen mechanical breakdown videos of this, but it's almost expected to be what it is as a 916. But let me explain something to you that maybe someone else hasn't done. So I'm going to try and do this succinctly. The 916, or the variants of the 916, are phenomenally well designed. Every last bit of this bike has been thought through. And it's generally been thought through in terms of how quickly you can strip it down and how quickly you can put it together. It's almost like a Lego bike, but it is just so effectively done. I can't give Massimo Tamburini enough credit for that work that we don't see, a little bit like what's behind a watch, and the thinking and the what ifs and what ifs that have gone into this design. It's a first class bike. I mean, it is stunning. So it's been an absolute joy to work on, and I can't see how I'm going to top this one, but I'm going to try. So with that, I'm going to get on with the build. The paintwork's almost all done now. We just have to do the airbox, and then that is it. Then we go. It's been a really fun ride, and hopefully at the end of it, we'll see this one running. So stick around, and I'll see you on the other side. So fresh from the spray booth. It's got a few little marks on it, but that's generally okay. I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to rebuild the mechanism with the screws and bits and pieces I have. So let me get on with that. So here we are. We've got the red radiator grille or radiator cover. I wanted a carbon one, and yeah, well, there were some rather poorly made ones, which are third-party ones, and then there's the OEM ones, which are too pricey for this job. And plus, I'm in the carbon business. I thought, how difficult can it be to carbon form this and make it exactly like the original OEM ones? So enjoy this one. It's going to be a learning curve for me too, because I've not done a form like this before. So let's get on with it and see how we get on. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the carbon, and I've got a choice between the plain weave or the twill. Which one? What I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the exact OEM design that they use on the SP. The inside is the twill, and they use the twill because it can conform to tight spaces like where all the bosses are. So we use that, and we use this on the flatter side on the front, which is what they use. It's called a plain weave. So I'm going to be cutting this strip of this. So what I'm doing is creating an extraction. Right? It's not critical to get rid of all these wrinkles because it's so thin and it'll compress down. Give it as much free movement as possible. So here is the actual vacuum bag.
Pull that bit down.
So this one is just like a where that goes there. Looks clean all round. Okay, we're getting there. Looking superb.
Yeah, everything so far.
But it's quite a chunk of carbon fibre. Very nice. On here, on these carbon parts, they neglected to put on in the mould the rings which hold the front of the airbox in position. Let's go and tidy these up. Great. Right, both are on and clipped in. Let me just warn you about buying a carbon part like this. There's a lot of things that you still need to do to it once you've purchased it, right? It's, for example, you've just seen all the work I put into that box. It's a lip. You can buy the lip. I don't know how you would glue it on if you don't have industrial epoxy, because over time I'll be concerned that vibrations would cause it to fail, and then if it fails, you're going to have, you won't, first of all, you won't be able to see it, and secondly, you're going to get all kinds of dirt inside your engine. So this is a very critical part to get right. The other one is this rubber airbox seal which sits under the tank. The ones that's supplied by Ducati do not fit necessarily all the little lugs, these little rubber bits in here. So you have to drill new holes for them. And it's quite a palaver because it kind of fits, but it doesn't. And you have to then use a lot of rubber sealant to seal the edge, otherwise it's pointless. So there's just bear that in mind when you want to upgrade your Ducati to a carbon airbox. It's more complicated than you think. Phew, luckily it fits, and it fits really well too. In position, and these are repairs that I did. There's a little bit of a gap here. Might be the fact that the actual aperture on this carbon part is not 100% accurate. So I've been fitting the seat. One of the immediate problems I've found, and this is unfortunate, but it also relates to some videos I've done earlier on about how and what those brackets do, what type of bracket you should apply to a Monoposta conversion. And it looks like I've made an error, and here's the issue. You can see that the rear splashback guard or mud guard, Monoposta guard, has got this gap here. And the reason is because in there, this bracket is pushing the seat up. Now it should be a flat bracket. It turns out this particular one, it should be a flat bracket and not a raised bracket like I have been saying. So I've got to try and find a bracket for this thing. Okay, I'm not waiting around or paying 68 pounds for a second-hand one of these. Right, so that's the base. So there's the bracket. This is the flat one. So I'm going to do my tests on it, but I've got a feeling this is going to be correct. Right. The Monoposta is officially on. A few little adjustments to be made, but yeah, eventually there's the bracket. Fantastic.